Wow. I literally just had to start over because I'm recording on earbuds that I don't even know where they are. They're connected via Bluetooth somewhere, and that's actually the point. This I don't know where stuff is. I'm constantly misplacing shit, setting stuff down. My attention span is shot. I, I I'm frustrated from earlier because my dog is a pain in the ass and it threw my mood all off. And so I'm in a weird spot. And, um, yeah. So I'm going to do the podcasting. This is going to be technically the first episode because, it can't be episode 0, which I wish it could be because, um, I was thinking about doing the AI thing, all the stuff that I've been talking about recently. I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to structure that. And yeah, I think I want to do that. I was going to set up my computer earlier and then stopped, and now I'm back, and I've, I'm feeling quite off today. Um, I was fine, but fucking dog. I think the reason I'm posting this now is because I need to get this out before I really start. I have some weird feelings about this. My internal monologue that runs all day long is about to be exposed, and in ways that I'm not sure how to predict yet because that's kind of what I do. I just kind of do things, and um, I've been in a particular emotional state for the last 6 months. In a weird state right now, and I gotta say, like, a lot of times I don't say what's on my mind because I'm freaked out, and I don't want to be the cause of anyone else's grief or anxiety or depression or angst or anger, any of that shit. Um, yeah, I've resisted this for a long time, but I was trying to get something to eat while I was trying to cool down from my dog being a jerk. And I was sitting around and put on YouTube and went and um, went to the music section on YouTube for some reason. And I saw a video that Billie Eilish um, did put out like 3 days ago, um, called "Come Out and Play," and I clicked on the video because of the Offspring, because of the song "Come Out and Play." That, um, anyways, yeah. So I'm watching this video, and it's this what most people would recognize is like a Pixar style animation, or something along those lines. And I'm sort of mildly interested in this, and but I'm not really focused. I'm not really paying attention. I'm trying to eat, and so I'm just sort of sitting there, and I'm sort of passively watching this. But this girl is and I'll have to find a way to link this or whatever, because this goes into just how my brain works. Like, I can explain a lot about myself in more time than it take to watch the video. This girl is an artist, and we see her. It looks like she's probably drawing. Um, and she's got this dog, and she likes her dog. And um, at one point, we even see her, and I didn't even see this at first. Like, I had to watch this second time to even see this detail. Like, she's working in like a bakery or something, and she makes like a dog face out of like the dough. Um, and over again, and this is something I didn't really, it didn't really sink in the first time I saw it, but second time it started to, like, I started paying attention. And she is constantly doing these creative things, and then as soon as someone looks, she's, wiping off the screen or whatever, and shuts her computer and don't look. And to the point where she doesn't even want the dog to look, and she does this in the beginning. And clearly we're supposed to get the impression that this girl is sensitive about her art. She just doesn't want people to see it. Um, and we get a very um, there's a very Krampus moment where, and things like this happen in like fairy tales, but in Krampus, the like 2015 or whatever film was, whatever 2018, um, when like the boy's letter gets ripped up and thrown out the window, and like the wish comes true. It's like the Santa Claus thing. It's like the Santa Claus letter going out the window or whatever. Um, like the dog does this thing, right? The dog opens the window, and like the papers come out, and she starts to freak out. Um, but you get the sense that like the dog knows or something like that. You get this sort of sense. And it's a very, it's like a very Pixar esque thing where the animal has like this look like of understanding or something. Um, so anyhow, she starts freaking out. The papers are going all over the street, and she's got to chase them around. And uh, her drawing like gets picked up by this older lady who's like in the park or whatever, and she sort of smiles at the girl. And um, the whole point of the song is, and this whole time is like, you've Billy is telling us, while like as this play is going on in front of our eyes, she's saying, you've got to show your art, you've got to show your gift, like you've got to do it. It's gonna freak you out, but you've got to do it. And um yeah, that was the point when like I just lost it. um I'm my my mood regulation is minimal, basically non-existent. And all these things start to hit me all at once, and I'm taking a lot of meaning out of this, both literal and philosophical, and a signal from the universe, wherever you want to call it. And um, it basically hits me that I have spent the last 6 months um, basically doing nothing, and I've been really confused and didn't know what to do. And there's a lot more to that story that, like, that's going to be for another time. Like, that's story time. That's like a different thing. Um, But I've got to put my energy into something, and I don't know how that's going to go. But my real first podcast is going to be, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to try to do it today. Um, and it's going to be kind of bad. I already know it's going to be bad because I can tell that I'm rambling and going off, and I'm distracted, and so that's not a good combination um, of things as I get distracted looking out the window. Um, but I guess what else I need to say is like I am not a doomsdayist. I'm not some anarchist or what. I There's gonna be a lot of things that people could throw at me, and this is the only way I can like set the record straight on that. I am not an optimist, but I'm not a pure pessimist either. Like I think pure optimism is honestly naive and lazy. Um, just being an optimist all the time is like I don't know. It just is. It's just sort of like a numb way to go through the world. I mean, if that's like what you have to do, then like okay, I guess. But um, I think about things all day long. That's all I do is process ideas, information, thought experiments. Um, and I've been doing this for a long time. In fact, I've been doing some version of this for as long as I can remember. Um, yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't any good at it when I was like 5 or 6 years old, but um, like I wouldn't have been as skillful at it for sure. The creativity was probably pretty good though. Like the creativity was wild. As far as like understanding of the world and like what's practical and what's not, like that, there's things you can't just absorb as a child, but I can reason pretty well now. I have pretty sound reasoning. I fully admit I'm very skeptical, or at the very least, um, uh, or not skeptical. Sorry, that's not even the right word. Susceptible to um, like taking things a little bit too far. So, um, while I am highly skeptical of claims, I'm a little more willing to proceed with things that are not entirely knowable or entirely fact based. Um, so I am willing to entertain like what the future would look like, with an AI takeover. I'm willing to entertain the idea that like aliens are real. I'm willing to entertain, and this will definitely be a podcast of some length, honestly. Um, Notions of God and the true nature of the universe, and that sort of thing. Um, I don't know what else to say. I Some things are gonna be dark, some things are gonna be weird, some things are gonna be me just sort of rambling or ranting on something. I mean, I don't even know if I want to call this a podcast so much as a talking head thought experiment. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to do it in the podcast thing. I do want to talk about AI technology. I've spent a long, long time working on that now. And my window into it, the way I see it at this point, is my window into AI technology is like reasonably good. There are certainly people who are far better or more experienced with machine learning and AI than I am. Um, there are certainly people who are way better at a lot of those aspects of, I mean, programming, any of that type of stuff, than I am. So, but I sort of see it as like I'm a C student. You're getting a good representation um, of what an average person can take away with, you know, I'm not some genius. I don't have insider access. I have access to Twitter. I use these tools day in and day out. Um, in fact, it's the one thing I have the most exposure to, spent the most time on, spent the most amount of hours on, um, engaging with, interacting with, reading the text responses, testing, probing within, I'm not going to be as good of a tester as a professional, um, AI scientist or something. But I've got a mind for this. I know how to do it. Like I know how to have philosophical conversations with a computer. So I'm taking the position of the everyman who's knows a little bit more than your Uncle Buck. Um, really, that's who I'm trying to talk to. I'm trying to talk to people's Uncle Buck. I'm trying to talk to people at a level that they can understand, because what's become very clear to me is that most people really do not understand this technology, and it's not their fault. Average people just don't have time for this. They don't care. They don't understand. They don't understand the impact. Um, and the communication has been horrible. And you don't hear from the tech industry unless they're building you something. You don't hear from computer scientists unless they're developing a new gadget for you. You hear uh, from the theoretical physicists day in day out. You hear from the scientists working at CERN or at NASA or whatever on the cool, like whatever cool flashy thing they're doing, or all that sort of thing. But what you know about AI technology is that, like, you can get your phone to listen to you, by a wake up word, by, we call these things by name. We've given personality to computers now. And that's, you know, that is what it is. So I want to talk more about that. I want to talk more about what the technology is, um, how it works within reason, and what how to think about it is really what I'm going to try to do, attempt to do. Um, it'll be much better quality than this. I do have a proper microphone. Um, I'm working on setting that up. Again, this is podcast zero. This is just me going on a rant, giving you my not only my mental state, but like the fact that it this could depress you a little bit. So this is your warning. This is it. This is your warning. Um, because if you even think you want to know what's going on with me, you know, beware what you wish for. It might be entertaining, it might be depressing. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to depress you. Um, although that'll be a thing later. Like I will be talking about that at some point because that needs to be dealt with. But first and foremost, I need to talk about like how I see things going in the next couple years. Because it's gonna be weird. it's going to be weird. It's going to be wild. I've had to come to terms with a lot of things um, to get to this point. Um, and I'm really trying to. So I'm trying to walk the line, walk a very thin line between like AI doomsdayist, alarmist, and like future utopian, like futurist. Um, and I think the reality is going to be very mixed, but somewhere in between, and honestly, completely unknowable in some other ways. I mean, there's just things we simply will not be able to predict. We've been fairly bad actually at predicting how these systems work. So other than the pace of change and like when things are probably going to happen, which is what I'm going to get to. Um, yeah, all right. I'm off track. I've lost track of time, and I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Podcast one is going to be the real podcast. I'll start today. This is just a rant. This is just your little heads up. Um, I'm gonna try to be real with you and um, without like sugarcoating things or making things like sound horrible. But like, I'm gonna try to just talk and say what I actually think. Like the thing of here's the thing. This is the last bit. If you don't like what I think, you can like turn this off, and that would be totally fine. And you could say, "Hey, Carl, your podcast fucking sucks. It makes me depressed. I got fucking anxiety. I'm gonna take Prozac. Whatever. That's cool. I can handle that. That's cool." Um, but I've got to get this out, and so this is where I'm giving you a choice. I'm not gonna corner you at a party and talk your ear off. Um, but I'm gonna talk your ear off here. So you know, use your time how you see fit. Um, that's it.